All right, folks. So I want to talk about positivity and negativity, right? Positivity and negativity. But I want to talk about it in terms of the periodic table and how it applies to us and how it grafts, shapes, and molds us and create and generates behavior patterns in our psyche and ultimately in our actions and deeds. Now, electronegatives are any element or any foods that any element which is found in our foods that we intake that actually has a tendency to attract electrons. Electrons are negative energy particles. That's what an electron is, and it's a energetic particle that is negatively charged. Any energetic particles that are negatively charged. So we have on the periodic table, you have your electronegatives and you have your electropositives. Now, non-metallic substance are considered they have a high electronegativity. And these substances on the periodic table, they're called halogens. So they're found in the halogenic location of the periodic table. And these are, again, like I said, the electronegatives have a tendency to attract negative particles, which are called electrons. The electropositives, on the other hand, alternately, they give up electrons. So by giving up an electron, these are considered metallic. You have non-metallic and metallic. The metallic elements are those magnesium, potassium, sodium, francium, cesium. These are elements that tend to give up electrons, and by donating or casting off an electron, they become what's called a cation, which is a positively charged particle. And again, magnesium, potassium, these are also elements that's found in the foods that we eat. Now, so you have electropositivity and electronegativity, and you have metallic, which are high electropositives, and non-metallic, which are low electropositive, high electronegative. All of these elements are found in products that we use. In terms of electronegativity, the highest source of electronegativity is, I believe, fluorine. Right. I believe fluoride, a reduced version of fluorine, chlorine also have high electronegatives. Fluorine is the highest of them all. And this is found in our water supply. It's found in our toothpaste, so on and so forth. So we, by nature, take in a lot of electronegativity. And this is why, remember, electrolytes, right? The body needs electrolytes for the conductivity of electricity. For your heart to beat, your heart generates electricity, right? I talked about that in previous videos. A synode or SA node, which is the heart's pacemaker. That's what allows the heart to pulsate. Every time your heart pulsates, there's a flowing of electricity. Electrolytes allows the facilitation of that process. So the body needs electrolytes. Doctors will tell you that all the time. When you drink Gatorade or certain drinks that are high in electrolytes, that's why we need it for. That's the primary purpose. Also with the brain, every time we have a thought, it is a result of the synaptic network, the neurons firing off electrical impulses, and our synapse, which forms the networks between the neurons, allow those impulses, which are essentially electricity, to formulate thoughts. So our thoughts are a result of electric impulses that are fired off by our neurons, which are facilitated by the electrolytes. So electrolytes are absolutely necessary, and our electrolytes are a result or a derivative of the electronegativity or the electropositivity elements that are found on the periodic table. Okay, hope you're following along. And all in all, both are necessary, because the ultimate purpose of the endocrine system is to bring our complete anatomy, our complete biology, to what's called homeostasis, which is a balance, right? So the endocrine system, think of a thermostat, not a thermometer, but a thermostat. I believe it's a thermostat or thermometer. I think it's a thermometer, right? Not a thermostat, a thermometer, right? Where it's preset at a particular temperature. And if the room falls below the temperature, the thermometer will increase the furnace, the heat, to bring the room back to that temperature. If it goes above the temperature, the thermostat will turn the heat down, the furnace down, to realign the heat to the preset degree that you and I or whoever have set the thermometer to. So that's what the endocrine system, that's what electrolytes, that's what the whole purpose of it within the body. It's to balance out the body and keep everything at a preset, predetermined level. All your hormones, your chemicals, everything's supposed to be at a specific level. If anything gets thrown out of whack, then we have problems, right? We get sick, we get illnesses, diseases, so on and so forth, right? This is why young ladies tend to mature, their biology matures so fast, is because of the result of the endocrine system being in a state of disequilibrium, right? A disimbalance. So this is why electrolytes and electronegativity and electropositive is so important. But I say all that because it's important that we understand that we consume so much. We consume way more electronegativity than we consume electropositivity. And this is why your life can be in such shambles. This is why the world is in shambles, okay? This is fifth dimensional thinking, space-time continuum. This is some heavy stuff. The world is in so much shambles because molecules, right, which are atoms that have combined to form molecules, and molecules make objects, all of us, at their subatomic level are always in motion, but they are always in haphazard trajectory. What that means is their motion is completely chaotic. On a molecular level, our atomic values or atomic numeric values are always in motion, but their motion is in complete chaos and haphazardness. It's completely chaotic. There's no structure, organization in terms of its movement. So that is on a micro scale. But we who are the end products of these molecules we continue the behavior of the molecule because in fact and in essence we are molecules. We are the end result, the offspring, the progeny of molecules. So therefore, this is why the world on a global scale will constantly be in chaos. But the thing is for you and I to understand the science so that we can learn to, like the thermostat or like the endocrine system, bring order and structure to our society, our community, our neighborhood, ourselves, our homes, etc. So the world, it's a very complicated, I just came across a new word. Every day, my phone, I have these notifications, and every time I get a word of the day, it's just something I like to do, right? I got this app every day. It sends me a new word, like a word of the day. So labyrinthian is the word that I got today. And I was like, well, I know what a labyrinth is, right? It's a puzzle, any kind of puzzle, maze, whatever, labyrinth. But labyrinthian, I was like, okay, so it must mean, but it just means complicated. And I thought that was pretty interesting. So I'll just share that with you guys. So the world is in a state of, our world is labyrinth. It's a labyrinthian world. It's complicated, complex. So no one man has the answer. We all we can do is our best, right? So, again, it's important to understand that the distinctions between the electronegativities, the electropositivities, and this is why, and how we can do this is dieting, right? We can make sure that we consume enough electropositives to offset or to bring, equilibrium to the electronegatives, because again, we consume a tremendous amount of electronegatives, so much so that we see it in our behavior, right? Our children, our adults, ourselves. You can see the state that we're in, and a lot of times we blame it on social media. We blame it on TV. We blame it on this society. I mean, we blame it on everything, right? We have all kind of reasons why we behave and do the things we do, and for all intents and purposes, I'm not saying it's not true. There's a lot of truth in the justifications, the rationales and explanations that we attribute to our state, both psychologically and physically, manifestation wise. But that's like cutting down the branches and thinking that they're not going to grow back, right? That's like attacking a problem on a tree that's like cutting the leaves, the branches off of a tree. No, if you want to really get rid of the tree, you have to get to the root. You have to get to the root and you have to literally remove the root, right? You have to get to the bottom and you have to pull the tree out from its roots. And what I mean by that is, if we really want to fix our society, fix ourselves, we have to get to the scientific explanation. We have to understand the science. And by my gosh, I get it. It's a lot of work. It's laborious. It's tedious. It's heavy lifting. I spend a tremendous amount of time researching. I mean, 14 hours a day, 10, 12 hours a day. People say, where do you find the time? Weekends. Weekends are that's my time. Saturdays, Sundays, I'll just be in the house all day. Like, I just don't, I have my daughter, she watching TV and reading her book, and I lose myself in my research. So it's all about your priorities, right? We all have time to study if we want to. Trust me. It's all about prioritizing and what you really want to do and what do you enjoy. I enjoy this stuff. So for me, it's not work. It's not making time. It's what I enjoy to do. But so folks, like I said, to really get to the root of the problem, you have to literally get to the root. You can't chop the tree down from the branches. You have to cut it from its inception, which is the root. And the reason why we do what we do, why we are so complex as creatures, internally, there's just a constant battle within each and every one of us. We have microorganisms that are constantly battling within our bodies. And as a result of that, it affects our brain. It affects our pineal gland, our pituitary gland. It affects the way that the left and the right hemisphere interact and cross-reference each other. And we see it in our everyday struggles, situations, violence, so on and so forth. So we are a very labyrinthian creatures. We're very labyrinthian. I told you, just learned that word, so I don't want to use it a few times. I don't even know if I'm using it correctly. I think I am. But, like I said, we just really have to understand. We have to get a scientific explanation of what we are as a species, as an organism. We have to understand. We have to get a scientific explanation of evolution. We have to have a solid understanding of relativity, special relativity, general relativity. We have to understand these things because we are scientifically induced. We are chemically induced. We are a very unique creation. We are extraordinarily unique, and we possess E equals MC squared. Energy, energy, mass. I'm sure we're familiar with that. E equals MC squared. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, and that I can go on forever about that. That's a whole new level of eye-opening fifth dimensional thinking, fifth dimensional chess we're talking about. Like, there's some stuff in that is amazing about you and I, right? A small amount of mass equates to a tremendous astronomical amount of energy. And you and I are mass, right? And I'm a 240-pound man. That's a lot of mass. And just a iota of that mass times 186,000 miles per second, which is the speed of light squared. I mean, that's like, I don't even know if there's a calculator to let you know the amount of energy that is, right? So we possess a tremendous amount of power, a tremendous amount of energy. Photospectroscopy, we study that and learn about how we absorb light. Like, all my life, I never knew that we absorb light in the same way a plant absorb light. The only distinction is plants do it way more efficiently, effectively than you and I, because that's their primary source of life, right? Like, plants don't have any other way to consume their nutrients in their food other than through photosynthetic process. You and I, we photosynthesize, but just not as efficient as plants, because we have melanocytes, which are cells that actually absorb different frequencies of the electromagnetic spectrum, right? So if we get a grasp of photospectroscopy, we'll understand how we can utilize certain frequencies that are being radiated and emitted at us, through us, in us, by us on a 24/7 basis. And if we can understand how to tap into that, utilize that, maximize that, and our potentiality will be just astronomically, exponentially through the roof. So it's a lot, folks, and I don't expect everyone to get it. because it takes a lot of time, a lot of studying, a lot of researching, and discipline. You know, we all have to be disciplined to do this, and when I say do this, I mean just to really unpack ourselves. You know, you unpack our true selves, to really unwrap, unravel, unpack, break down, compartmentalize, dissemble, and really get to the foundational fabric of what we are, and what is that matter, right? The matter that interconnect us all, that connectivity, that interwoven connectivity that we all have as objects, right? Of objects that are manufactured from that one stuff that is called matter, by which the entire universe is composed, consistent, and comprised of. So, like I said, we are amazing people. We are an amazing species. Not one of us is better than any other. And the only exception, let me rephrase that. The only way I consider myself better than you, or you better than me, is based off how much I've tapped into my true nature. I think that's the best. The only way I can say I'm better than you or you're better than me is the degree to which you have tapped into your true self. Other than that, you and I, we are all, literally, we're all equal, right? But the distinction of what makes us unequal is the degree to which you have unpacked, unfolded, unraveled, and utilized your true potentiality. If you've maximized and utilized and tapped into your full potentiality, then that gives you that gives you advantage. It makes you more advantageous than me and puts me at a disadvantage to you. But it doesn't mean that that you're better than me because you were created better than me, or you were given some kind of, no, biologically, right? Even if I'm taller than you, it doesn't matter. Even if you're shorter than me, or I'm shorter than you, it doesn't matter, because it's about the power that you possess. It's not about a physical stature. It's not about an appearance. Now, obviously, if you're born with some kind of handicap, right? There's some, you have to, that's a biological limitation. We're not, with the exception of that, we're not talking about that. We're talking about just, generally you're a healthy person. It's the degree to which you've maximized and tapped into your potentiality. That's what distinguishes, that's what makes one person better than the other, if that makes any sense. But like I said, it's important for us to understand how to consume electropositives. We need to make sure that the foods that bananas are very high in potassium. Potassium is electropositive. These are not non-metallics. Magnesium, like I said, you can do your own research, folks. Go to periodic table and you can research and read up on that. And you can find foods that are electropositives, and foods that are vegetables, fruits, a lot of electropositives. These fruits will help offset the electronegatives, because remember, like I said, we use fluoride, we use fluorine, it's in our toothpaste and our water. So we're constantly taking a lot of that in. And I might not drink as much water as you. You might drink more water than me. So that means you'll have a higher electronegative charge than I might have. And the problem with that is, a lot of people don't understand. The electronegativity charge, it's not just sitting there stagnant. It's actually attracting things to you. That's why people talk about the laws of attraction. This is the science to the laws of attraction. Your cells are attracting to you what you're radiating. And if you have a high dose of electronegativity, which again, fluorine and fluoride, we consume a lot of that stuff, we're constantly drawing to us various kinds of energies. And if you're not even aware that you're radiating a high charge electronegative, if you drink your 8 glasses of water every day, you're radiating profusely on the high degree, on the highest scale of electronegatives. And therefore, you're going to be attracting a lot of elements. That's why some people, you ever wonder how you just some people just say, yo, I have so much bad luck, or this, or why is this so, or why is that, because you don't even realize it, but you're sending out signals to attract to you the things that you're complaining about because of that charge that is built up inside of you. And this is all of us. This is the entire globe. It's not a local thing. It's all of us. Some more than others, because again, I can drink less water than you, right? Maybe I use a different brand of toothpaste. Like there's toothpaste out there that's not fluorine rich. So you might not have as much electronegatives than I do. But generally speaking, we use water. The United States fluoridated their water after the World War II. If you look at certain European countries, they don't fluoridate their water. Greece, I don't believe, use fluorine. Certain parts of Europe, there's no fluorine. So, and they don't have like this tooth decay problem. So this whole nonsense about tooth decay is not true. So we just have to, like I said, really get into the science, folks. Do your best to study the science, and your life, you can definitely, you can be more in charge of your destiny. Okay, you can definitely be, I am the captain of the ship, the master of my destiny, right? I'm sure some of us are familiar with that quote. I'm paraphrasing it, but you will definitely have more control in regards to how your life is the direction in which your life is going. Now, I want to say this though. I want to make sure I put this out there. At the end of the day, this is going to be completely counterintuitive or counterproductive to what I just said. At the end of the day, you have no control over your life, right? That comes like it's a complete paradox. I know it's contradictory. It's a walking contradiction. At the end of the day, we really don't have control over our lives, right? I know people are going to say, well, wait a minute. You just said you could be a master of your destiny. What I mean by that is what we have control over is the day. It's not even the day, the minute that you're in, the moment that you're in. That moment that you're in, that's the control. That's control that you have. Now, if you make decisions in the right moment and you keep doing that moment by moment by moment, the moments will determine the future clearly, right? But the reason why I say that is because I've also studied chaos theory, butterfly effect, determinism. These are different schools of thought to where small changes can, drastically change everything else, have lasting consequences. So, and I do subscribe to chaos theory. I do believe in some of this stuff. I've seen it. I've experienced it. So we have control and we don't have control. It's both. It's like wave light. Light can be both a wave and a particle. How, right? So it's something like that. It's like a duality, right? We have control, but we don't have control. We kind of, sort of, maybe little, because life just happens. Like I've been doing things where I'm like, okay, I'm doing everything right. I got this. I'm focused. I'm on my hustle. I'm like I'm focused. You understand? Like I'm doing the best version of Marlon, like the best version of myself. Like I'm maximizing. I'm fasting. I'm studying. I'm this. I'm hustling. I'm on my grind. I'm meditating. And then things fall apart. like something else will happen that's way outside of my control, and it just my plan just got sidestepped. Like whoa, So, but you have to be willing to. That's the beauty of life, though, folks. Like if you could predict and knew everything, life would lose its luster. It would be boring. Like think about it. I love chocolate ice cream, but if I had to eat chocolate ice cream for the rest of my life, I would freaking kill myself. Like, you understand? So my thing is like, even though we can control, you really can't, right? Because there's powers that are greater than you and I. There are forces out there that are 10 times, million times greater than you and I. And, and I believe in God, even though I study science, I believe in God, hard body. Sometimes, that's not his plan for you. Right? There could be something else. So it's like I said, labyrinthian, folks. Word of the day, labyrinthian. Something that is complicated and extremely complex. I don't have all the answers, folks. All I can do is give you a little bit of a direction, drop a few gems here and there, and you take it, throw it away, do whatever you want to do with it. And as hopefully, something I say will make some sense and help you make, one right decision. You know what I'm saying? And if so, then hey, I did, kudos to me. Mission accomplished. Till next time, I'm gonna cook books, bring y'all information. Peace.